I'm bored.
What? Okay, first of all, we live in Miami.
No, but it's like now that I live in Miami, it's like, where are you flying me out to? Because this is home.
Wait, that's so funny that you say that. The Fly Me Out app.
Wait, what?
The app. Was that you the other night when the guy was telling us?
Our Basel weekend?
Yes. These like trust fund guys on it. They have money. They're educated. They're fun. It's like worldwide. You can add yourself to their reservations, or you can add yourself to their itineraries. Like literally they'll post going to Mykonos, have this villa with the guy.
So it's like Raya, but
like bigger,
but
and like they
better,
follow through
because it actually goes somewhere.
Yes, and they follow through.
At least they're not old, ugly dudes.
And you have to be approved, and it's like a whole subscription thing. Like, no,
I'm downloading the app right now.
Like, I swear you're gonna love it.
You're listening to the X Podcast. The X you keep coming back to.
Hey guys, welcome back to the X Podcast. Hey and hey, because I put two cameras up. What's up? What's up? Just casually been gone for like 6 to 8 months, but what is fucking up? I officially moved to Miami. Woo! I've been gone for a couple of Mondays, to say the least, probably like 6 to 8 months. This episode is going to be my first episode back, and I wanted to do it before the new year, but I'm going to be honest with you, I filmed it and I was like, this is not going up, because I was so emotional and I was like, this is absolutely not going up. So we're going to try this for the third time, because it's the third time I'm trying to film this episode. It's a very sensitive episode for me. I'm feeling a lot better about it. So this is the last fucking take. So this is the one that's going up. I don't care if I'm bouncing off the walls. I don't care if I'm crying. I don't care if I'm calling my ex a fucking loser. This is the episode that's going up, okay? This episode is really going to be about my year last year. There's so many things that happened in this last year, and I know from the title you're like, bitch, talk about your breakup. But there is a lot of things that have happened in this last year. I don't want to get like emotional about it, but it's been my most difficult year of my entire 29 years on this planet. But luckily we have God, so that's fine. With that being said, there is so many like unfortunate things that have happened. Like my uncle passed away, my dog passed away. I went through the worst health issue of my entire life. Skin issue last year, and I went through a breakup, and I was going through long distance. It has been a fucking year. Also, I went through friend breakups. So I feel like that, like 2025 was like quite a wipe, honestly. I got rid of a lot of things that weren't doing me good anymore. Well, not my dog and not my uncle, but like, you know what I mean? I figured that my first episode back, we could kind of get into everything that happened with my relationship, and to kind of give anyone who's going through a breakup or who has gone through a breakup kind of hope, and just to remember who the fuck you are, okay? Because I feel like a lot of times when we get in a relationship, we start liking someone and we can a little bit like, I don't know, maybe skate around certain things that like we don't agree with or that we don't think align with us. I feel like the first question always asked is like, oh, who broke up with who? And I think that's like an interesting topic to start with, because I feel like just because somebody breaks up with you, it doesn't necessarily mean that like you wanted it or it was your decision. And I think in this situation with my ex, who, by the way, lives in Miami, and we have not seen each other since, but we'll get into all of that. But I think that when two people break up, one person always initiates the breakup, and then the other person just has to kind of accept it or like change, right? And I think in this situation, it's like I broke up with him, but it's because he wasn't giving me what I needed, and he was disrespecting me in a lot of ways. And there's no part of me that wanted this breakup. If you ask me, like, did I see myself with this person? 1,000,000%. Did I want to be with this person? Yes. Did I think this person was for me? Absolutely. Like, I think I've even spoken about on the podcast how, like, I really said like my next relationship is going to be my husband. And that's obviously a lot of pressure to put on somebody who's like, you know what I mean? Still like having to go through the relationship and hope that like the other person feels the same way, can emotionally like handle you and what you come with. And if you're a new listener to the podcast, then you won't know this, but basically in December of last year, you know, around New Year's, everyone comes to Miami. That's when I had met my ex-boyfriend. And it just so happened that before I made that decision to even come in December, I signed a lease for 2 months to live here for 2 months, escape the cold, and kind of see the vibes of whether or not Miami is really what I'm getting my visa for. Like, do I want to start podcasting in Miami? Is this where I want to start my life? So my girlfriend and I rented a spot, a 2-bedroom, whatever. We start these 2 months. But at this point now, I'm already starting to date my boyfriend because we met in December. I come back in January and it's like, I'm here for 2 months. And now it's like, great. Well, I love living here now because the weather's beautiful. There's so much opportunity to podcast from here, have guests on, and at the same time, like I met someone. So I'm like, great. Throughout the 2 months, I barely spent any time really at my spot. I was at his spot. So I feel like our relationship started off super like hot and heavy, you know? It was like initially like just a lot of attraction. I was really into him. It was like, you know, like butterflies, the beginning stage. I'm like, oh my God, like this is my person, you know? And I feel like you don't really know someone until you date them for like, I would say like 6 months, okay? But in this time when I met him, I was on cyclosporin, which was a pill that was helping me with my skin issues. So I was like clear as day, no issues. I meet him, I'm like, wow, I have a new boyfriend, my skin's amazing. But in the back of my mind, I have this anxiety of like, oh shit, like when I get off this pill, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna turn into like, is all my like shedding gonna come back? Like I could put up pictures of what I look like, but honestly, I'd rather spare you guys. So yeah, so I was kind of like, well, I don't like, this is going to give me anxiety now because there's a lot of things. Now I'm living in Miami and I'm realizing now we're like practically, well, we are living together, and he's kind of like, well, I'm in a 1-bedroom right now. I'm going to move to a 2-bedroom so we have more space. So we moved to a 2-bedroom in the same building. And now like our relationship is getting more serious, and we're like kind of like attached to the hip. We're doing a lot together, and it was just like, it was fun, you know? The back of my mind, I always knew I had to get off the pill. And that worried me a little bit because I'm like, oh, like, you know, you're starting a relationship. You want to be confident. You want to look hot. Like, you don't want to start like with the unknowns now. Like, what's going to happen when I get off this pill? Guys, for anyone who doesn't know, actually quickly, I went through steroid withdrawal. So it's like basically, you know, a lot of people have eczema, like, and your dermatologist is going to prescribe to you like a cortisone cream that gets rid of the, you know, the eczema. And over the years and build up, I've been using this cream, and eventually it exploded and I turned into Shrek, literally. And it takes time for your body to adjust to not using this cortisone cream. And it has been, I'm like, not even exaggerating, the hardest health year of my fucking life. I lost half my hair. My eyesight went like, I lost half my eyesight, literally. My ears blocked. I could barely hear. I looked horrible. It was the hardest year. Like, imagine like if physically, like I'm exhausted. It's playing with my nervous system. Like everything is affected. And plus, I'm dealing with a relationship that's going sour. So you could just imagine. So everything kind of happened with this steroid withdrawal. Like, people don't understand what it is until you really go through it. And like, look, there's always going to be worse things to go through, but damn, what this was like unexplainable. Like, one of the hardest things I hands down had to deal with. And I think like when I was with him, I was on the pill, so everything was Gucci. And then he was kind of like, look, babe, like, I love you. Like, I'm here for you. I'm going to be by your side. Like, you're going to get through this. Get off the pill. Get rid of this. Like, just kind of like cleanse your body. Go through this withdrawal. And then like, I'm going to be by your side. And so in the end of January, beginning of February, when we're like living together, I get off this pill, and I'm having like reactions, but it's nothing like intense, crazy where how it got in the end. But at the beginning, it was kind of like it was fine. It was like obviously I didn't look my hottest, and I was like shedding and stuff, but it was like still manageable. Because I think when you have the pill in your system for like months, it takes a while till like your system clears it, and then like you're really going through the withdrawal. Anyway, by the time I really, really went through the withdrawal, I was back in Canada because it was about 3 months after that. So like February, March, April, May. So in around May, I had went back to Canada. And at this point, I started my visa application. So we're doing long distance, and I'm going through the craziest withdrawal. And a part of me is like, thank God I'm not with my man, because I don't want to be going through this with him. Okay, like it's the beginning stage. You still want to be sexy. Like normal people don't have to go through this. And here's the thing about life. It's like, woo, you can't decide when things happen. Woo, I don't want to cry. You can't decide when things happen. You almost have to like just go through it and like roll with the punches. Oh my God, I didn't want to cry. Damn. You just have to kind of roll with the punches and just like whatever comes at you, you just have to go. Fuck. Anyway, so we're doing long distance. I'm turning into a monster, literally Shrek in Canada. But I'm like, whatever, it's fine. It's going to get better. At least I'm not with him. And in this time, he's like closing the biggest deal. He has like started a private equity firm, and he was closing the biggest deal. And I've been nothing but supportive about it. And like, for me, like, it's important that like my man goes after his dreams, and like he amounts to everything he wants to, and has like a supportive girlfriend. And I feel like for him, he started to not show up for me, I would say, like when I started going back to Canada. And that really played with my nervous system, because it's crazy when he said, like, get off the pill, I'm going to be there for you. And then, like, to feel like he wasn't there for me, oh my God, made me feel like so abandoned. And like, I could cry just thinking about that. But there was a few shady things that he did that like, I honestly, for my own mental health, don't even want to get into. Like, I rather not. Just like not being truthful, lying about certain things, and like me catching him in these like lies. When I was back in Canada, I wasn't really expressing how bad my skin really got, because I knew how busy he was with closing his deal, that I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to be like every day, like, oh my God, it's so bad, I can't even get out of bed. Like my mom's rushing me to the hospital. Like there's really nothing we can do. I just gotta go through this. It's about going through it and like just waiting it out. And like, I didn't want to be a burden. I'm like, he's closing the biggest deal. I was so selfless, you know, like I don't want to like put that on him. And here's the thing about like loving someone and like really creating a connection and bond. It's like things are never gonna be perfect all the time. Like they're just not. And it's never gonna always be the way you want it to happen. And I think that like the beautiful thing about a partnership is being able to like fully be like open and tell you that you're struggling, and like let someone like in and be there for you. And I feel like looking back now, I realized that the reason I was never open about what I was going through is because I didn't feel like he can handle it. He never made the environment feel safe enough for me to like open up about how I'm feeling, because I don't feel like he would do anything to help me also. And also like maybe that's a little bit on me. I just didn't want to burden him, so I didn't tell him. When he officially closed his deal, I was so happy for him. I feel like that was his time to show up for me. Then now I'm like, okay, like I have to tell you, like I've really been struggling. And like they're just like his willingness to want to do things, to like come to Montreal, to to see me. Don't worry, babe, if you don't look your best. Like, I want to see you, like, you know what I mean? Like, yada, yada, yada. Send me flowers. Once I had told him, like, I'm having a hard time sleeping, that was his time to, like, ship me melatonin. It's like the little things in life, you know? And I was going to bed every night and being like, but my person wouldn't do this. Like, they wouldn't just, like, abandon me. They wouldn't just, like, not prioritize me at all. Like, I'm telling you I'm struggling and you're not showing up for me. Like, that's not a relationship. I've showed up for you this entire relationship. I've done so much. I don't even want to talk about what I've done, but I'm like, and he knows, and he's going to watch this. What's crazy is I was going to bed and I was having a hard time sleeping. And like already I'm having such a hard time because I'm going through the hardest time of my life mentally, physically. And now I have like my relationship that I'm worrying about because my man is in Miami and he's not really fully there for me. And I'm like struggling, you know? And I'm like, God, just like, please, like, give me a sign. And like, this is the thing about like God and asking him for a sign is he will remove anyone in your life if you ask him. And if he thinks that somebody is like not for you, he will remove you, or he'll give you constant signs of why somebody is not for you and why they're not showing up for you. And I remember going to bed one night, like my nervous system was all fucked up. I was having a hard time sleeping because all I could do is think about him. And I'm like, why is this relationship not feeling easy anymore? Like, why am I feeling like on edge? Why am I feeling like I can't tell him anything? He can't handle anything. I feel like he's like selfish. Like I tell him how I'm feeling and he manipulates me. Like, I'm like, I don't understand what's happening here. Like, this has never been me. This has never been something like I'm like able to like would accept. But also when you're like sick and going through a hard time, I feel like you'll like tolerate a little bit more, or at least like for a little bit. But I remember waking up that day, he had just closed his deal and I was like, look, he closed his deal now. Like, I want to tell him how I'm feeling. And I remember telling him how I'm feeling, and like he did nothing to make me feel good, to make me feel like he did nothing. There's things you can do still when you're long distance for a short period of time before it won't be long distance that you can like show up for your partner. And I'm like, is this a sign, honestly? Because it's so easy to say, like, here's the thing about life is like love and like relationships, like you're going to have to show up sometimes, even when it's not easy. And I feel like this was the number one sign of like, God's like, you're going through this. Look how your man is handling it. Like, look how he's like not showing up for you. Is this the type of person you want to have kids with? Like the fact that he's not even able to like put aside his problems for a second and like be there for you. It's crazy because sometimes like we don't understand why we're going through hard times, but then in the hard times, we actually see who's really there for us. The next day, I was really feeling like, what the fuck? Like even to get on a call with him was like, oh, like, I don't have the time type of thing, you know? So I was like, look, like, I have to talk to you about something. Like, can we get on a call? And I actually had written down before we got on the call what I wanted to say, because I feel like sometimes when you're on a call, like, you can't really, like, say what you want to say, or, like, things get kind of, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just had to write it down and just be like, okay, this is what I want to say. And I'm going to read it because it's the X podcast over here. I know this has been an incredibly stressful time for the both of us. We've been hit with the 3 major challenges: long distance, my skin issue, and the pressure of you closing your deal. Most couples don't even have to face one of those at a time, let alone all 3. And honestly, I'm proud of how much we've been able to hold it together through all that. But I also need to be honest and say that I've been holding back how I'm really feeling. And I think that's part of why I lashed out the other day. He didn't say goodnight to me and I lashed out, whatever. It wasn't fair, and I take responsibility for that. My initial reaction, especially when I'm overwhelmed or feeling unseen, is to pull away. But instead of shutting down or creating more distance, I'm going to try and explain how I feel. The truth is, I have very high standards in relationships, and I feel like I allowed you to give me the bare minimum, and I can't lower them just because I love someone. One of these standards is communication, especially while we're long distance. I need regular check-ins, phone calls, real connection. When I don't feel that, I start to feel really disconnected, like I'm not being prioritized, and that hurts. Secondly, I can't let love cloud my view of the effort being made. At the beginning of our relationship, you showed a side that was thoughtful and deeply caring. You sent me a blender to my apartment when I needed one, ordered me food, ordering me shoes when I'm not even there, like just because you were thinking of me. That meant a lot to me, and these kind of gestures are the kind of effort I value and expect in a relationship. Now, when I'm going through one of the hardest times emotionally, I haven't felt that same effort. I told you how I was struggling, and I expected you to step up because not because I want to be spoiled, but because I want to feel cared for, especially when I'm at my lowest. Instead, I felt neglected. I shouldn't have to ask my boyfriend to send me flowers or follow through on, hey, are you sending me melatonin when you said you would? Because I couldn't sleep at night. These things may seem small, but they matter deeply to me, and they're like love in action. I've been showing up for you through this all. I've been showing up for you through this. I've been supportive and understanding with your work and stress that came with it. But the more I think about it, I realize this isn't about one moment. There will always be stress. Your work will only get more demanding. And if you can't meet my needs now, is it fair to ask if you truly are ready for this kind of relationship I want? Whew. I love you, but I love me more, and I know what I bring to a relationship. My heart is big and I give a lot, but I've been pouring so much into us, and I'm starting to feel like I'm running on empty. I can't keep giving without feeling that same energy in return. This isn't a punishment or an ultimatum. It's about being real. I want us to work. I want us to move forward. I want to move forward with you, not against you, but I also need to be with someone who is fully in it and who shows that not just in words, but in actions. Oh my God. Guys, like, I'm like over it, but it still like stings, you know? Like I've come so far, I swear. Doesn't seem like it, but it's still emotional reading it back. I read that to him. I read it. I say it, but I read it. But I read that to him and he's like, whoa, like I wasn't expecting this message. And here I am thinking he's going to be like, oh my God, babe, I'm so sorry. Like I haven't shown up for you. Like, you're right. Blah, 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 blah. Instead, he's like, whoa, like I need to take a step back. I need to think about this. Like I didn't even think about this. And I was like, you have to take a step back. You have to think about it. He's like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like long distance has been hard. And like, I feel like the spark is gone. When he said the spark is gone and my heart like jumped out of my chest, I was like, okay. I'm like, long distance is hard. I'm not denying that. I think long distance is hard when like there's no plan for one to move. It's like you're kind of like dating, but like no one has a plan to move. This is long distance for like a short period of time before we're not going to be long distance. And I think when I sent that message and he was like, whoa, I need to take a step back. And then he like threw two things in my face that have happened in the past that like was his way of like escaping this relationship, being like, yeah, that one time you did this. I was like, are you serious right now? I'm having like a heart to heart with you. I'm telling you how I feel, and you're bringing up something in the past that we resolved because you cannot actually like, you don't have the emotional capacity to like deal with my feelings, like literally. So his first initial like thought is to like escape the relationship. And this is like boy energy, okay? Like when you're dating a man, this would never happen. The fact that I like told you how I felt and your first initial thought wasn't like, baby, I love you. Like I know I haven't been showing up. I want to show up for you. And like, that was your one time to really be like, you're right. Now I close my deal. Like I'm going to be there for you. No, it was like, whoa, he had to think about things like, bro, you have not been showing up for me. You've been the worst fucking boyfriend. You have to think about it. I'm like, no, let me make this fucking easy right now. You don't have to think about anything. I'm like, just the fact that like you can't be there for me and you don't have that capacity. I'm like, we're done. Like, we're done. Broke my heart. Wanted nothing less, okay? We get off the phone. We break up. I go up north with my girlfriends. I'm like going through the hardest time ever. Guys, still dealing with my skin, like dealing with the fact that I'm going through a breakup. My friends up north, like trying to be in nature, but like I'm so fucked up, literally, mentally, physically, I'm fucked. At the end of like my 3 days of being up north, I'm like driving back home and he's like, hey, can we get on a call? We get on a call and he's like, I had time to think about it. He's been also with his family all weekend. He's like, I love you so much. And like, I want to be with you. And like, I'm sorry. And yada, yada, yada. Okay. But in those 3 days that we broke up, he was already on a dating app. No, guys, you don't understand how like this is so insane to me. Like to me, it's like a shaft in my face because it's like, I literally like thought this was the love of my life. And now like 3 days later, you've already managed to like get on a dating app and like start following girls. Like is one of the most like, thanks for letting me know our love meant abso-fucking-lutely nothing to you. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know that. And I think that was a moment where I was like, what the fuck? But we got back together and then I only realized afterwards that he was like on the app because I was like, wait, who are these followers? And then I call him and I was like, hey, like, have you been on a, like, when we broke up for 2 days and got back together, like, were you on a dating app? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, are you still on the app now? Like, we're back together. Like, are you on the app? And he's like, yeah, like, I haven't been on it though. Like, I haven't, blah, blah, blah. But like, I was taken so aback because I'm like, in these 2 days, you're calling me back and you're telling me how much you love me and how much you want to make it work, but yet you're on a dating app. To me, it was the most vile, disgusting thing ever. I was like, I can't believe you're on. I was like, I honestly can't believe you're on it. Like, I freaked. I was like, I physically, I can't believe 2 days later you're on a dating app. Like, are you mourning the loss of me or are you just like trying to see if there's better out there? Because babe, if you think that there's better out there, leave and fucking shut the door on your way out and I will not hold it. One thing about me is like I was going through the hardest time and I was able to let him go. So imagine what I could do when I'm not going through the hardest time. And like, I'm not your mom. I'm not holding you hostage. You don't want to be in this relationship. No stress. Get out. Do you know how many people would want to be in a relationship with me? Do you know that and the thing is like, when you know your value and you have self-respect, you're like, leave. The door is right there. I could be hurt. I could want to be with you. I could want this to work so much. But I think a lot of times we have to remember that just because we love someone doesn't mean that we should tolerate shit. And I think that that's really something that I have learned this year is that love has to be put in action. It can't just be said, you know, like telling me you love me is one thing, but telling me you love me means nothing if you're not putting in the actions and showing me that I'm a priority. Being on a dating app is not telling me I'm priority. It's telling me that, oh, I like what I have and I don't want to lose it because I do know it's good. But like, what else is out there now that we already broke up and like, it's rocky because of you, not because of me. What's funny is like all my friends even say it. They're like, Alessia, you were always out of his league. And I was like, no, like I love him, you know, like, no, he's not. Like, they're like, Alessia, the only reason we really liked him for you is because we thought he was treating you well. The second he started treating you like a piece of shit, she's like, what are you doing? You can have what you want. What are you doing? Like, you think because this guy can't give you what you want, you're not going to find it in someone else? Like, you're delusional if you think that. And I think sometimes when you're in a relationship, you think like, oh my God, this is the end all be all. And it's like, girl, please, what one man won't do, another man will. And it's like, it's true. I think the reason breakups are so hard is because you always think like, was there something I could have done? Like, is there something I did wrong that like I could have fixed? And the thing is like I was willing to work through anything and I was willing to, I mean, I did give it 100, honestly, like maybe even 120. And I think you always think like, could this be fixed? Like, is this fixable or is this just like because we're long distance? And the truth is like love will always test you. And like, I feel like that's what God was trying to say. Like, you're going through a hard time, you're long distance. This is when the most support should come. This is when somebody should show up the most for you. And like, this is your this is me, God, trying to be like, look, this person is not showing up. He's not showing up. And let alone if I would have never left Miami and been in Canada, if I would have never left Miami, it probably would have continued. And like, it probably would have taken me so much longer to see that side of him than like actually distancing myself and seeing how much effort was actually being put in. Because when you live together, it's a little bit different, you know? So I thought that was interesting. It was like, no, like the long distance didn't break us. It broke us because we were never strong enough. That's the difference. We had each other's locations and we end up breaking up, removing each other's locations. And then the next day he like messages me and he's like, hey, like, can I send you melatonin? I'm like, no, like it's too late. Like we broke up and now what? You're trying to do a good deed. Like now that like, it just felt so unauthentic and not natural. And then I was like, no, thanks. We're good. And then the next day he's like, hey, like, I just have something to tell you. Like, can we get on a phone call? And I'm like, my friends are like, what is he literally like, what the fuck at this point does he have to say to you? We get on a phone call and he's like, I had time to really think about it. And I realized that like before I met you, like I was just like so comfortable in my ways and like being by myself. And like I got so used to that. And so like when you left and went back to Canada, I got so comfortable with like my life again and like being alone and not having to like basically show up for anybody and just, you know, live his life. And he's like, and I realized that like now that we broke up, it's like now I realized that like you're worth changing my life for. You're worth like the change and like the getting ready and like being there for you and like oh my God. Like you could just imagine the emotional roller coaster this guy put me through. He's like, you're, woo. He's like, I'm never going to meet anyone like you. You're the love of my life. And I realized that and you're worth changing my ways for. And like, I'm sorry. And I want to be with you and blah, 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 blah. At this point, we like had removed each other's locations. We're like done. And now you're coming back a couple days later. Now that I've withdrawn and now you're like, no, give me a chance. Like, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, guys, I want you to understand that the me that I know would never do this back, forth. But I don't know why in this situation, because I loved him, because we were long distance. It's hard. It's really hard. So I'm like, okay, like we're doing this again. Like, it's just like everything is going against my will. Him going on a dating app, like him. And it's like in hindsight now, like over my dead fucking body, he was like, I want to show up for you. I want to be there for you. And I was like, look, like, I want to go on a trip. Like, I've been sick this entire time. You closed your deal. Like, you just, like, take me on a fucking trip. Why don't you do something? And take me on a trip. Why don't you actually, for the first time in the fucking relationship, why don't you actually spend a little bit of fucking money on me and, like, do something for me, you know? Anyway, but, well, that was a dig. No, honestly, you know what I realized? Another thing is like, I've never really dated a cheap guy. And like, I dated him and I was like, yo, somebody who's cheap with you is like never somebody you want to be with. Anyway, you're telling anyone. The girl who like knows what she wants and won't tolerate shit was tolerating so much in this relationship. And like, it's insane to think about now. But the thing is like that stage of my life where I was like, oh, he's starting his equity firm. Like, I'm going to like cook and you almost think sometimes that like the more you do for someone, the more they're going to like respect you. And it's like so not like that. I think the thing is like when you'll do so much for someone because you love someone so much, a lot of times people will take your kindness for weakness. And it's like, don't get it twisted. Just because I love you so much and I'll do so much for you, if you disrespect me, like I'll be out like a light. You don't get to like treat me bad and like think I'm gonna stay because I love you so much and I've done so much for you. I think a lot of times people don't understand that. It's like you really just have to pour into your own glass, and like somebody will come and like continue to pour into yours. And like I really was like, yeah, I'll build with this person. I love this person so much. He's not where he wants to be, but like I believe in him. I'm like by his side. I'm also like not asking you for fucking money. Like I have my own life too. Like I've been so grateful and lucky to be making money while I'm sleeping, while I'm going through my sickness. Anyways, that's about like finding the good in things that happen to you. But like I never was asking for the Chanel bags and all the things that I can get with any other guy I date. And I know that, and I'm aware. And it's like when you, and it made me like kind of overthink, and like, it made me think about like, wow, like I get why people don't want to grow with someone. I can't even explain to you how like my friends are like, how are you going to feel if like you find out that he's dating someone new? And I'm like, oh, like it won't affect me. And they're like, oh, really? Like, I thought because you were so hurt by this. They're like, oh, really? I thought because you were so hurt by this, like, it would affect you. I'm like, what's the saying that I saw online that was like, he needed to date me to know he was worth that, and I needed to date him to know I was worth much more. And I think that's kind of the situation. And I think he knows that I'm not going to leave this relationship and go date somebody worse than him. I think that like when you love someone and like they're always going to be your hardest critic in a way where like we see the best in you and like we expect you to show up and we expect you to be all these great things, but we're also going to confront you. And when you're not able to like take accountability for the things that you need to work on, it's going to feel like confrontation, right? When it really should be accountability. And that's the thing with like someone who's like emotionally mature and like they understand that. But when somebody is not ready to confront and their ego is too big and like they're not ready to like put their pride aside and all of that stuff, it's going to feel like confrontation, and it's going to feel like I'm asking so much of you to like show up for me and to do these things because I'm feeling like your quote unquote mom in a way, when really I'm asking for the fucking bare minimum, and I'm asking you to like show up for me. And when somebody hasn't done the work or hasn't had many relationships, when you confront them, their first initial reaction is going to be to like escape. Like they don't have like the maturity to process it and realize it through relationships that have happened in the past. When we first broke up, and I was like, oh my God, like I love this man so much. Like the thought of like another woman like sleeping with him, like it made me sick to my stomach. Made me sick to my stomach, fam. Okay. It made me sick to my stomach. And I feel like as time went on, I was almost like, I don't even give a fuck who he sleeps with. I don't care. Like, I know what I was in the relationship, and I know I'm leaving it with like no crumbs. Like I know I'm like, I showed up for you. I swear, like it's not to be like, no one's perfect. I obviously had things to work on, but like I was ready for love. Like I was ready to put in the work. I was ready to be that person, but he wasn't where I was. And that's okay. And honestly, I would have purely respected somebody who was just like, look, like I'm not on your level. I'm insecure. I'm not ready. I'm all these things. Like I would have preferred that, honestly. Obviously, though, that's not going to happen. Instead, he's so ego driven, and it's like, it's sad. He had called me to get back together. He was for sure. I already know, like now looking back, that was his whole plan all along. As we broke up, he removed locations, and then he wanted to like live pretend we're back, be back together with me, but then still live his life in Miami because now he closed his deal. So he has a little bit more time on his hands. He wants to go out. He wants to do things. And with that, there was a lot of disrespect lying that came through. And it's just so funny that God sent me another sign where he was like, I just had this feeling. I'm like, he's lying to me and he's out. And why is he lying to me that he's out? You know? Anyway, I ended up catching him in a lie that he was out because it just so happened that the location showed where he was, and he like doubled down on the line. He was like, no, I wasn't out. And I literally sent the screenshot to him of him out. I said, we're done. And I blocked him everywhere. Okay. And he's like, I remember even before I blocked him, he wrote something like, this is too much, man. You're crazy. And it's like, you're going to manipulate me because you're lying. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, his ego, after I blocked him, he went to like block all my friends. I'm like, his ego is so big that instead of taking the L and being like, yo, like I fucked up, I lied. And instead of just taking accountability, he's like doubling down, going and follow all my friends and like trying to one up me. Like, what am I dating? A fucking boy? Like, one thing about me is like, I am the most, and like everybody knows this about me. Like, you want the truth, come to me. Okay. If you don't want the truth and you want me to listen, I'll also be there. But like, if you want the truth, I will give you the truth. Okay. I cannot lie, and people laugh at me for this. I can't lie for the life of me. Like, it's just not something I want to do. I'm so honest in a relationship. And I always remember him being like, oh, the thing I love about you so much is that you're so honest. Like, I never have to worry about whether you would like cheat on me or like, and in my head, I'm like thinking about it now in hindsight, it's like, why is that the thing that you love about me? You know what I mean? Like, if your intentions were as pure as mine, then you wouldn't be feeling that way, you know? And so, like, it's funny to look back on things that have happened in our relationship now and be like, I get it now. And, like, the thing is like, I think the one thing I can never get over is when someone is, like, not honest. Because I feel like I go into a relationship, and maybe this is bad and I have to change this, but, like, I go into a relationship and I'm giving you 100%. I don't want to come in with baggage of things that have happened. I feel like I've been single for 4 years. I worked on myself. I'm ready for a relationship. I'm ready to be fully honest with you. I think that being honest is one of the, like, you can't find love if you're not 100% honest, because you're honestly like hiding parts of you. And it's like the things that you're hiding, like someone is going to love about you, you know, like you don't have to show up perfect. You don't need to be perfect. So, where was I getting at with this? Yeah. So I cannot handle somebody who lies to me. And he lied to me several times in the relationship. And the first time you're chalking it up to, okay, we didn't set that boundary. The next time it was like, okay, because of that. And then at a point it's like, but I'm like having to dodge all these things that are happening that are disrespectful, that like, I don't want to have to tolerate this shit. Why? I don't have to tolerate this shit. I'm not dating a fucking billionaire where I have to start tolerating this shit. I'm not, truthfully. And even if I was, my self-respect is too fucking high to be dealing with somebody who's not honest with me. A hard conversation is like, this is how I'm feeling, and then we can go from there. But if you cannot even be honest with yourself because you're hiding who you really are, then I can't help you. And you also cannot be loved properly, and I can't be loved properly because you're not honest about your feelings and what it is you want. I would have a good conversation would have been, look, I'm not ready for this. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, the fact that he's like keeping me at arm's length while giving me the bare minimum, and then still, but then again, I have to think about how I've tolerated that for a little bit in the relationship before I cut it off. I just think when I said we're done after he lied about where he was and I caught him and I sent him the picture, I just think that like I've given him so many chances to the point where like he was like, I can do whatever and this girl is still gonna stay in my life. And like, that's where I was like, don't take my fucking kindness for weakness. Don't think that because I stood by you for a lot of shit and like tolerated you being disrespectful about going to the strip club and not telling me. Anyway, and a bunch of other things, that I'm going to tolerate this. Like, I'm really not. So I think when I left was a big shock. And I think he only realized what he had when I left. And I think also, like, you don't realize, sometimes you need to lose someone to realize somebody's worth. And I think that's what happened. And guys, in all this, like all my shit was in boxes at his apartment. I'm like going back, getting my visa now. And like this whole life I thought I was like creating with someone now. I'm going back and now I'm like, I either have to like move in with my best friend how we started this journey in January, because she got a 2-bedroom. She's like, why don't you come just live with me for like a little bit until you get like your foot on the ground and then look for a spot. Like there was just so many emotions about coming back to Miami and knowing that like I was supposed to do this life with him. And like, I literally have not seen him since we broke up in Canada. Like it's been months. Like my fear every day of like going out or like doing something and like bumping into him, like my heart is like popping out of my chest, and like sometimes it's like I can't even like walk certain streets or like go places 'cause I'm just like the memories, like it literally fucks with my mind. When I had to get my stuff from him, I had blocked him everywhere. So I made my girlfriend here message him and say, hey, like, can you please ship all the boxes here? Yada, yada, yada. And he was like, yeah, no problem. I'm okay to coordinate with her. Like he was doing everything to like find a way to like talk to me. And I'm like, there's no communication. Like you're disloyal, you're dishonest, you disrespected me. There's no conversation to be had. Like there's really not. If you ever thought that this person could be for you, you have to let them go because they're like literally disrespecting you and they're not showing up for you. And sometimes people have to lose what they never thought they would lose in order to realize your worth. And like another thing he did that really honestly, like this one even bothered like my family, but I had a vanity that I paid for at the old apartment that he brought to the new apartment when we moved. And when he moved, I guess when we broke up, that's what second, instead of putting my stuff like in a storage, like you kept all my boxes. Obviously he's not going to throw out like all my things. Well, you never know. But like he didn't throw out all my things. He goes and throw out the vanity. Why? Because you want to have like bitches at the apartment and you don't want to have to explain a vanity. Like, so get a locker and put my vanity in a storage. Like the fact that he was so able to just take my vanity, throw it out, and just be like, so, this is what I mean by like selfish. Like no man I would ever want, my husband would never do that. No matter how much, like whether we broke up, nothing. Like you just like, my dad, when he found that out, he's like, honestly, like, don't even like we'll get you a new one. Like, don't even worry about the vanity. Like, it's just like little things that like are just so fucking disrespectful, especially considering that I barely used that vanity when I got it because I was so insecure about my skin that I didn't want to go in this huge vanity with lights, and I was waiting to like get better to use this vanity, and like he's throwing it out, and like I'm moving here, and like now I'm so excited to have my vanity and put it here, and it's like, no, he threw it out. Like, do you like what for all? Because you're like angry because I went on a trip after we broke up, for whatever the reason is like I need to be with a guy who's able to like maintain his emotions and not get so fucked up, not like do things on like the span of a whim, if that even makes sense. Not even a word. Like not letting his emotions take over like his ability to do the right thing. I think another thing that really bothered me in the relationship and was the first sign that I was like, oof, like, I don't know, is that when he told me he had 2 girlfriends, one that he slept with in the past and one that he didn't. And the girl that he slept with, okay, was really a problem in our relationship. I'm not going to lie. And like, for me, like to get in a relationship with a man who doesn't off the bat cut cords is not a man I will ever entertain. When I am dating a man, I am his world. He is obsessed with me and I am his everything. There's no other girl that's going to be in the picture. There's no other thing that's going to be able to mess up my relationship. And you know what's so crazy is that I walked into this relationship so confident that I was like, look, I'm never going to tell you what to do. I'm never going to tell you how you should handle this ex-friend of yours that's still your friend, but you fucked. I'm never going to tell you how you should handle it. Just one, don't disrespect me. Because if I have to walk out of the house and look like a fucking fool, that's when we're going to have a problem. That's when the disrespect really happens. And she disrespected me and like had sent him like a picture of them 4 years ago when they were like in a photo booth with like a teddy bear 4 years ago today. Like, babe, you know we're dating. Like, you're really trying to mess with our relationship. And like him being like, oh, good times. Like, you know, like keeping around like a girl that like has no significance. Like, babe, if you want to date her, we don't have to date. Like, if you want to be with her, go be with her. I know you don't actually want to be with her, but the fact that you need the attention from other women is just disgusting to me. Like, looking back now, I'm just like, are you so insecure, or like you need validation from you need validation from a woman who, one, by the way, doesn't even want you, only wants you now because now you're with me, and now she wants to see if she still has access to you. And it's so funny when men don't understand that. She wasn't after you when you were single, but now she wants to make sure that she still has you. And the way you make me look like an idiot when you say, oh, good times, and you entertain somebody and let somebody like be present in your life when you're dating a girl is like the most, like, it just 101 things I will never deal with again. And you know what the worst part is like I never was like, I'm in my head, I'm like, it's like broken women, unhealed women will do that. And the thing is like I have nothing bad to say about her because the loyalty and respect needs to come from my man. Doesn't need to come from her. A girl could try and do whatever she wants, but if you don't respect me, that's when we have the issue. Not when she tries. I don't care that she has daddy issues or she's doing that to get like self-validation. I don't care. I'm a fucking woman though, and I know my value, and I'm not gonna let some fucking girl who can't even speak English come in between our relationship because you can't set a fucking boundary. Like, bye. Like, it's just crazy to me how like looking back, I'm like, ew, my man, my husband will never put me through this. Never. You know what's so funny about like being single is like realizing your worth again. And not like, I was like, I'm not scooping to his level. I'm not getting on a dating app right now. Like, I'm honestly gonna take the time I need to heal because this relationship really destroyed me. I'm gonna take the time to heal. And when I'm ready to date, I'll date again. But I'm not gonna force it. I'm gonna go through all the feels. It's just so funny how like God's like, oh yeah, like you went through hell, someone treated you like shit. We're gonna show you exactly what you deserve, and like you're gonna see what you're gonna get now, you know? And like I think it was so funny that like all I really wanted was for him to show up for me, send me flowers, do all these things. And like in the end, I was going on dates with guys. This is like later on, and it's like God has the funniest humor ever. I was going on dates with guys, and literally first date, they're showing up with a bouquet of roses, like multiple guys. And I'm here like, okay, this is so funny how like one guy you can be asking, please show up for me, like send me flowers. And then it's like the other dudes who show up, they're like, flowers are, of course. Like, what? You're never gonna have to ask for flowers. I thought it was just so funny that like now I'm dating and it's like God's like, here you go, like you shouldn't even have to ask for a man to show up. Like I'm going on dates, these guys are just sending me flowers. Like I'm sick, I'm not even able to make it to a date, and they're like, can I send you a care package? Like it's just so funny how like in hindsight now I'm like, if he wanted to, he would, and like people will. And he wasn't. And like it's just funny now in hindsight, like stop begging and crying and asking for someone to give it when you can find somebody who will do it naturally. And yeah, I started to get my confidence back when I started dating again, and I remembered who the fuck I am. People online will talk a lot about like what is a high value woman and what does she bring to the table, that fucking table. I'm going to destroy that table. But I truly believe that in life, no one will have respect for you like you need to have for yourself. So like a high value woman is someone who respects themselves. They know who they are, they know what they are, and they won't tolerate shit because they've worked on themselves and they know who they are. So they're not going to tolerate you breadcrumbing them or like not showing up in the way you should. Like they're not going to tolerate that. They're just going to walk away, and like you're going to have to live with that fact. And I think that that is the true definition of a high value woman, is having self-respect and enough to know, okay, I love this person, but this person is not treating me properly. So I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to give them the chance to continue to treat me wrong when I can find somebody who will never put me in a position to lose me. Because somebody who's meant for you will never leave you. And somebody who leaves you toyed with the idea of, oh, like when you know that something is valuable, you're never going to put yourself in a position to lose it. But if you put it in a position to lose it, then that person never fully saw your value in the first place, and you need to run. And yes, with time, like people can change and like lose something and then realize the value. But normally, like it's too late. And normally, like the woman moves on or the man moves on. Like at some point, it's like by the time they realize, it's too late. I do really know what I want now. And like I've met such amazing guys, honestly. Like I have to say, when you're in this energy of like you have so much self-respect, you know what you want, and you literally do not entertain anything that is not worth your time. You see right away through people, and like you know right away like who you're gonna like accept into your life, whether or not they're gonna give you what you need. Like I'm literally made of steel after this year. Like I'm made of steel, and anyone who comes into my life is adding value, is not bringing problems. And like I need a man. I don't need a boy. I don't need somebody who hasn't resolved their childhood problems, who has avoidant issues. Like I need a man. I need to feel like a child when I'm with you. I don't need to feel like your mother. Like I need to feel like I do so much in a relationship, and I don't want to take that away. I don't want to not be able, I don't want my trauma of my last years affect like me not being able to like show up for my next person, you know? Like I just want to like do the work. And now it's, you know, what's funny is when I came back to Miami after, and like my girlfriend, she like saw my ex on the app. I was like so disgusted again, and like bothered me again. And then at a point I was like, okay, I'm at a point now where I'm like, I'm going to get on an app now because I don't care. I want to go on dates. I'm in Miami. I'm new. I don't have many friends here. Like, so yeah. So now I'm on an app, and I've met such amazing guys. I have to say, like my choice of guys now, and the people I even like will go on a date with, I have to say, like, I'm not worried in the slightest. After self-reflecting and getting out of this relationship, I wanted to share one last thing. This is like notes and like self-reflection, because God knows all I had in my mind was time. So looking back at dating my ex for almost 4 years, this is my ex of like, I was in my like earlier 20s. He had a problem with like alcohol and drugs. And at the beginning of our relationship, it was all fun and it was easy. And it was like, oh, we're always going out. And then at a point I realized, oh, fuck, like he's addicted. Dating an alcoholic and revisiting that and what I had to learn about myself. You can't fix or change someone, and how I deliberately knew that my next partner was never going to have any kind of substance abuse. Like really thinking about all the things I needed to revisit in myself to understand that I always tried to fix someone. So dating almost 3.5 years later, my new relationship where he had discipline in the aspects of life I feel like my ex didn't have, like waking up super early, working super hard, and wanting so much more out of life, I thought, yes, this is fucking sexy. But when I started to feel like he didn't have the emotional maturity to handle me and was selfish at times and didn't consider me a lot or help me, I started to think, wait, I got all the things I originally wanted, but why is my nervous system still freaking out? That's when I learned that again, I find myself trying to change someone or almost like beg them to see my value and put an effort into loving me, calling me, and showing up for me. Being alone in this time has made me realize that the parts of me that need fixing, into trying to fix people is over. Oh my God. A man needs to show up correct, respect me, love me, and be so selfish or quite selfless when it comes to me, or quite frankly, I will be disturbed. And that's when I realized I know exactly who I am, because I have spent so much time alone, which internally gave me no choice but to look inward, because the only thing I can really control in these relationships are me. So basically now my next partner needs to be trustworthy, honest, and emotionally mature. He will have dad energy, grounded, protective, and reliable, while also being sexy. He will understand the world and himself and bringing clarity, confidence, and presence into our connection. And that's when I realized, like, guys, I know who I am and I know what I want. And I'm not going to let this last relationship define these little things that happen, define me, because I am so fucking ready. I know what I want. And like, I'm not like chasing it. Like, I'm not chasing it. Like, it's going to fall into place now. It's going to happen for me because I realized that I had to go through this last relationship to fully now see what my value is. And like, you might think like, oh, he wasn't able to show up for you. How do you now see your value more than ever? Because he's not able to give it to me. I'm not going to go into this now thinking every dude is going to do this to me. That's toxic, and that's like bringing your baggage. Will I be a little bit more cautious? Will I be friends with someone for a little bit longer before I let them in? Absolutely. You know, a guy told me once, he's like, look, people gain your trust. I go into things and I'm like, I don't want to bring my like baggage, my negativity into this. I'm like, no, I'm getting into this relationship and I'm trusting you 100. It's the things you do after that make me lose my trust. No, I'm going into things now and I'm like, I don't trust you, but you can gain my trust by the things you do, your actions, the way you handle things. And I think that's a little bit more of a logical way to go into relationships, because it's not that I'm bringing my baggage, but it's just like, actually, I don't know if you're trustworthy. And this is my problem, is that because I'm trustworthy, I think everybody is. And that's innocent and pure, but it's not going to get me the proper man. Like, honestly, it's going to get me destroyed again. So I'm not doing that. Now it's like, you come correct, you constantly, we're going to be friends. Because like when you're friends with someone, normally you like kind of see who they are a little bit more. And like, you know, like I always think like when you're friends with someone for a long time and you know all the things about them, at that point you either realize, oh, I want to be with them, or like, oh God, that's why we're friends, you know, like it would never work. Anyway, so yeah. Another thing about me is like, another thing about me being perfect, no, is that like my ego is never going to get in the way. If I am wrong, I will say I am wrong, you were right, and there is no buts. I don't have too big of an ego. And I think that's why it even lasted as long as it did with him, because his ego is the destroyer of all things. Honestly, like if more people learn to listen and to like not have such an ego, the world would be such a better place. Guys, I'm so happy to be back. I missed you guys so much. I will be back every single Monday. I love you guys, and it was an emotional roller coaster. We went up down today, but you should have seen the other ones. They were so much worse. But anyway, guys, I love you, and I'll see you next Monday.